Imagine you're working the front desk of a hospital morgue and you see this happen. Would you quit on the spot? Because you personally witness a dead person walking out of the morgue. She is a head nurse at a hospital assigned to the morgue reception, responsible for registering bodies and doing night patrols. Everything seems completely normal at first, but deep into the night, she sees an elderly man walking out from inside. At first, she doesn't think much of it, but a few seconds later, she suddenly remembers something absolutely horrifying. This elderly man was personally registered by her into the morgue, and yet now she is seeing him with her own eyes. Her mind completely short circuits. She has no idea what is happening and is terrified out of her mind. She immediately jumps up from her seat. She decides to follow the elderly man, but what she sees next sends chills through her entire body. She panics and runs for her life, fleeing the scene in terror. That very night, she writes her resignation letter and leaves the job. According to insider sources, ever since witnessing this incident, she has been plagued by nightmares every single night.
This woman had a big swelling under her chin, and when she finally decided to remove it, you can't imagine what happened next. Jennifer's swelling under her chin was the size of a basketball ball. The swelling had lasted 12 years, and every time she walked down the street, people pointed it out with their finger, making fun of her misfortune. Her life became lonely, and until she left home, she became a burden. One day, she finally decided to crush the swelling. The curious people gathered in the garden to see the result of the operation. Some wanted to know as soon as possible what the swelling contained. The mother, very excited, decided to nail needles in the forehead. Everyone held their breath, fascinated by the show. However, when the mother removed the needle, nothing came out, and Jennifer did not feel any pain. Jennifer went to the hospital to remove the swelling. After examining her, they decided to operate her immediately. What the doctors discovered is terrifying. Follow me and comment Jennifer's chin for part 2.
This is the real-life Barbie. She wasn't made of plastic, she was colder. In 1961, Barbara Lane was 24 years old, a failed model with a flawless smile. She called herself a transformation expert. Her first improvement institute opened in Los Angeles. They promised beauty, confidence, love, and for the right price, a new face. Hundreds came. Teachers, secretaries, housewives, all desperate to be seen. They signed contracts they never read, posed for photos before surgery, handed over savings, identities, trust. And when it was all over, they recovered, looking almost the same. Their faces subtly altered, strangely similar, just a little more hollow. Barbara didn't just want to change them, she wanted to own them. Each woman became part of her marketing, faces on billboards, names, and testimonials. But over time, the surgeries began to fail. Scars formed, smiles grew stiff, and when they complained, she blamed them for not maintaining perfection. If they pushed back, she sued them for defamation. When investigators showed up, she smiled for the cameras, because in the end, she had already won. The perfect woman they envied wasn't a victim, she was the predator.
Do not look up their account before going to bed. I'm serious. I found this profile completely by accident, and it's honestly one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen online. They call themselves the Siamese twins, at least that's how people refer to them. At first, everything seems harmless, just two girls dancing to random songs, smiling, laughing, doing normal everyday things. But the longer you watch, the more your brain starts to notice that something is terribly wrong. In every new video, their height changes, not slightly, but dramatically. Sometimes one girl looks much taller, sometimes she suddenly appears shorter. And sometimes their proportions don't even look human anymore. People in the comments say they couldn't finish watching a full clip. Because there's something deeply unsettling happening, something you can't point at directly, but your mind refuses to ignore. Their names are Evelina and Lola. Some viewers believe it's all part of an illusion. A psychological experiment designed to make you feel uneasy without understanding why. Whatever it is, it works terrifyingly well. So tell me, would you dare to watch one of their videos all the way to the end? And remember, subscribe to me, because maybe we will never meet.
This man is known as the most dangerous prisoner in the world, and you won't believe what he did. A couple named Anna and Mike had just bought a new house and moved in, but on their very first night they started hearing strange noises coming from the basement. The sounds were so disturbing that Anna got scared and begged Mike to go check, but he refused and said he'd look in the morning because he didn't want to run into something terrifying in the dark. The next morning they went down together, and the moment they reached the basement, they saw a frightening man standing there. They had no idea who he was, and the sight of him almost made them freeze from fear. They immediately ran, locked themselves in one of the basement rooms, and called the police. They described the man as extremely tall, over 2 meters, looking almost like some kind of monster. But while they were talking to the officers, the call suddenly cut out. A second later, the couple started screaming in pure terror. And you can't even imagine what this man did to them next. Hit the plus and comment prisoner to find out what happened.
Someone tell me!
What are you talking about?
This family thought they were ending the day with a quiet night at a hotel until one detail changed everything. A mother and her 2 daughters were getting ready for bed when one of the girls walked over to close the curtains. That's when she suddenly froze. Outside the window was a dark figure, standing motionless, staring directly toward the room. The atmosphere changed instantly. What started as a normal family trip suddenly felt completely wrong. The video cuts off seconds later, leaving millions of viewers asking the same question: what happened after the recording ended? If you were in that hotel room, what would your first move be? Comment below and follow for part 2.
A mother and her child inside a house. The child is on the stairs. He suddenly falls. No slip, no struggle. Something forces him down. Seconds pass. The mother hears it and rushes in. She reaches the stairs and she falls too. The same motion, the same force, like the air itself hit her. She hits the ground. Then she stands up immediately. No hesitation, no pain reaction. She does not look at the child. She does not react to what just happened. She simply turns away and walks out of frame, calm, controlled, like her actions are not her own. The camera shows no visible cause, no person, no object, no movement, but both falls are identical. Both bodies move the same way, like something applied force without touching them. And after that moment, there is no acknowledgement of the child at all. Only silence, only exit, as if the situation was completed by something that was never visible on camera.
This woman married a zombie doll, claiming that she was the love of her life. This is the story of Felicity Cadleck, a teenager who was surfing the internet when she suddenly came across a striking collection of creepy-looking dolls. Felicity was so fascinated with the dolls that after so much insistence, her late father decided to give them to her when Felicity was just 13 years old. Felicity decided to name the creepy doll Kelly Rossi. Felicity spent 3 years sharing very happily with her doll, but it was not until she turned 16 that these strange and disturbing feelings began to arise. She tried to deny what she was beginning to experience towards Kelly, her doll, but over time her parents began to notice every day quite strange attitudes of Felicity towards her doll, but without giving it much importance. Until the day her father passed away. From that day on, Felicity became closer and closer to the doll until she proclaimed her love for her, since in that terrifying and creepy piece of plastic, she found comfort and closeness to her deceased father, being one of the most special memories that he managed to give her before his death.